Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Better Horses. You know, I don't think everybody realizes that there are over 7 million horses in the United States today.
We just love horses at Better Horses, obviously. And we love the fact that you can do anything with your horses. We've got some of our viewers that love to trail ride. We've got some that use them to work their cattle. I know some of them keep them in their pastures and just go out and to love them. Any way that you want to use your horse, we want to help you to continue to get better.
And you know, we'd like to encourage everyone to join the American Horse Council or any horse council within your state and get involved.
We really want to encourage you also to keep growing your horse knowledge and stay with us here at Better Horses.
Hello everyone, my name's Ed Adams.
And I'm Susie Arbo.
And welcome to Better Horses. And we are proud to begin with our own Susie Arbo, exploring the horse-human relationship and how strong that connection can be.
We are thrilled to introduce the art of the cowgirl with famous American Cowgirl Tammy Pate. Tammy inspires, gathers, and connects Western women around horses and the Western way of life. Our own radio host, Ron McDaniel, caught up with Tammy at her all-women ranch rodeo.
And today, we welcome new professional horse trainer, Mark Jenkins from Oklahoma City. Mark has an amazing ability to read horses and relay the information in an easy-to-understand way for the rider.
We are delighted to bring back Laurel Walker Denton from Skull Valley, Arizona. She is an AQHA, NRCHA judge, trained and shown horses to great success in working cow horse, reining, and ranch riding. So with all the millions of horses out there, we want to encourage you to watch the show because it's the only horse show that broadcasts locally.
Proudly airing on the RFD and the Cowboy Channel.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
It's the greatest equestrian event in Kansas and returning for its 26th year. It's called Equifest of Kansas, an all-breed horse fair coming to Salina, Kansas beginning Thursday, March 16th through Sunday, March 19th. World-renowned clinicians including Kurt Pate, Buster McClary, and Patrick Sullivan. And the most popular competitions in ranch rodeo, breakaway roping, draft races, and the driving derby. Wall-to-wall shopping for all things horse. For more information, go to equifestofks.com.
When I was a little girl, I was raised on a farm in rural Minnesota, and my family always had horses and cattle, and my older sisters had horses and ponies growing up, and I always wanted a horse of my own. And so when I was in 4th grade, my parents surprised me at Christmas to get my first horse, and that kind of began a lifelong love of horses. And so during elementary and high school years, I loved riding my horses out on trails. I loved showing them. I just loved being in their presence. And I know sometimes my parents, if they couldn't find me, they would just go down to the barn and they would notice my horse or my saddle being gone, and I would just take off for the day riding, either by myself or with friends. And I think that was the kind of time in my life where I knew that it was something that I wanted to have in my life for the rest of my days on this earth. When I went to college, I knew that I wanted to always have horses be a part of my life and a part of my journey. And so actually the college that I chose to go to, they had a competitive riding team. And so I had the opportunity to join them and travel and ride horses. And then my sophomore year in college, actually, I tried out for the dance team and made it. And so at that point, I had to decide whether or not I wanted to do horses or dance. And I knew I could have my own horses on the side, but I would have this unique experience to dance at the collegiate level. And so I was able to still do both, dance and have horses. In 2009, the Kansas City Chiefs turned 50 years old, and they decided that they wanted to celebrate that birthday celebration by bringing back the tradition of war paint. And at the time, I was a cheerleader for the Kansas City Chiefs, and my cheerleading director asked me if I would want to ride war paint. She knew that I had horses and that I loved horses, and it was the perfect fit for all of us. And so it was just supposed to be for one game, and it ended up being had such an overwhelming response from all of the fans that they decided to keep war paint for all of the games, and so that became part of my new job as being the cheerleader at the time that rode war paint. It's been so fun to have war paint be a part of the Chiefs tradition again, because kids will come up to the horse, adults will come up to the horse. Everybody loves war paint. They love to pet her, they love to interact with her, they love to take pictures with her. She just brings an element to game day experience that no other thing can bring. And so it's just been so fun over these last 12 seasons to ride her in parades, and every time people see war paint, they always want to have some kind of interaction with her. And we go into all different schools and we talk to kids about having a positive attitude and about not bullying other students. And so the horse itself just kind of brings another kind of an element to people that I think humans can't do. And Winston Churchill actually said there's something about the outside of a horse that's good for the inside of a man. War Paint and I have had to have a tremendous amount of trust with each other. I know that I need to trust her, and she needs to trust me. Every time we run out on the field, I know that anything could happen. We may have to dodge players and refs, and sometimes even flag warriors. But we work together to make our runs as smooth and safe as possible. We are a true team.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back right after these messages.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Klein Schmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
Hay is not for horses. They deserve Stanley Premium Western Forage. There's no better place in the country to grow forage than Idaho, and Stanley is one of the country's largest producers. From pellets, cubes, and chopped forage in bags to compressed in 3-tie bales, Stanley cultivates the premium forage types horse owners demand. Because your horse needs hay, but he deserves Stanley Premium Western Forage.
What do you get when you bring together one of the biggest names in veterinary medicine with one of the most caring and committed teams of horse health experts in the industry? You get a vaccine portfolio known for its quality and safety, a pharmaceutical line you can rely on to help manage pain and support performance. You get the products, programs, and people of Merck Animal Health.
Hi, I'm Tammy Pate from Rygate, Montana, and we are here in Las Vegas at Resorts World. for our invitational all-women's ranch rodeo for Art of the Cowgirl. I started Art of the Cowgirl 5 years ago, and it was my dream to provide opportunities for women to learn Western trades, such as boot making, saddle making, horsemanship, fine art, photography. Our annual event is held in Queen Creek, Arizona, where we have competitions, artist demonstrations, horsemanship demonstrations, hands-on workshops. We have an art auction, which funds our fellowship program, and an elite horse sale and cow dog sale. Really, probably 10 years ago, I started dreaming of this idea of having a place to celebrate women in the Western culture. And so 5 years ago, I just decided I've got to do it. If I don't do it, I'll regret it. And so we hosted the first annual Art of the Cowgirl event at Corona Ranch in Levine, Arizona. Within 2 years, we outgrew Corona Ranch and moved to Queen Creek, Arizona. And now we're going back for our third year, and the event has just grown. We have competitions, World's Greatest Horsewoman, where our winner actually gets to go compete in Fort Worth at the World's Greatest Horseman. We have an all-women's ranch rodeo clinic. This year we included a vaquero-style roping. We have a cow dog rodeer. Those are just the competitions. Oh, and a huge breakaway competition as well. We were very excited when we got the opportunity to have an event here at Resorts World in Las Vegas during the National Finals Rodeo. So Mesa and I decided it would be a great way to really honor the 5 teams who have won our ranch rodeos at our 5 events. And so we decided to have this invitational all-women's ranch rodeo here at Resorts World. And it's a way to thank the women who have won and showcase them here, and just really share the talent of these girls. And really, during the NFR, where rodeo really started. My dream for Art of the Cowgirl is to make a difference and preserve our Western culture. So if you want to be part of Art of the Cowgirl, go to artofthecowgirl.com. You can check out everything there. If you can't make it in person, we're going to be live streaming the event, but there's so many ways that you can become involved. Maybe not as a fellowship recipient, but we have workshops, we have different opportunities throughout the year. We have an Oklahoma gathering and a Montana gathering happening where you can come and collaborate and be with like-minded, like-spirited cowgirls. So just go to www.artofthecowgirl.com and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. This is Tammy Pate from Rygate, Montana, and you're here at Resorts World at Art of the Cowgirl's Invitational All-Women's Ranch Rodeo, and I want to thank you for watching Better Horses.
Hey cowboys and cowgirls, don't go anywhere. We have more Better Horses coming your way.
It's the greatest equestrian event in Kansas and returning for its 26th year. It's called Equifest of Kansas, an all-breed horse fair coming to Salina, Kansas beginning Thursday, March 16th through Sunday, March 19th. World-renowned clinicians including Kurt Pate, Buster McClary, and Patrick Sullivan. And the most popular competitions in ranch rodeo, breakaway roping, draft races, and the driving derby. Wall-to-wall shopping for all things horse. For more information, go to equifestofks.com.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Klein Schmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
It's time to go with United Mosquito and Fly Control's premier fly system for fly control in your barn, providing relief for horses from the stress of fighting flies, and also makes the barn more pleasant for everyone in the barn. Easy, effective, and safe. With United Mosquito and Fly Control, we provide a full service. You as the barn owner don't have to do anything. We go everywhere and take care of everything with our friendly fast service. Call today at 913-558-3814 or email Paul at unitedmosquito.com.
Welcome to Mark Jenkins Horsemanship, right here on Better Horses. Guys, so we're working with this 16-year-old thoroughbred. He's off the track. He has spent some time in the, I think the hunter jumper pen, but there's two main issues that the owners are having with him, and one is he does not stand tight. So we're going to work with him on that. And then on top of that, he doesn't like to get in a trailer. So we're going to also work with him on that and let him know it's not a scary place. We're going to do the best we can to help him out as much as we possibly can. There's a couple of steps that I want to run through with him before I actually tie him up. And the reason for that is, if you guys watch me at all, I'm big on preparing horses for what's coming next. And what I see a lot when it comes to trailer loading, when it comes to tying horses up or turning left and right or stopping, doesn't matter. The horse has not been actually taught to give to pressure. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that, big deep breath. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I do before I actually go up there and try to tie him up, which we'll get to here in a minute. The number one thing is I want to make sure that he's going to be soft laterally. If he's not soft laterally, you can't give to pressure laterally, then I've got to work on that for a while. And that'll be in another video as well. But for this one right here, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't get him to flex left and right. So when I ask for this lateral flex, it's not necessarily can he just move his head all the way around. What it is can he actually try? Right there, he tried. I'll bump him again. There we go. There he tried. And can he stay here? This is going to help me determine whether or not he's ready to be tied up. Because if he can give to that pressure, I'm going to ask him again, and they're little bumps. Don't just sit there and pull him. If he can give to that pressure, and when the pressure goes away, I'm going to ask him again, he stays for just a few seconds. That tells me that he's probably going to be okay with steady pressure. And of course, steady pressure is when it's consistent and if he's tied up. So right here, even though right there, good job. My fingers are still on it, on the lead rope, but he's staying. Right there, he bumped against it, no big deal. But that's just one step, and I want to make sure to be able to do it on both sides as well. So of course I want to make sure that he can do it on both sides and have that softness on both sides. And like I said before, I want him to be able to come over here, try, there we go, almost, not step on top of me, but try. And I need him to be able to stay over here. If he needs to itch his leg, that's fine. There we go. He gave me a big try right there. And he didn't slingshot back or up. So that tells me he might be ready for me to go tie him up and see how that works. One of the other things that I want to make sure before I go and actually tie him up, because it's going to be an exercise that I do while he's tied up, I need to make sure that he's okay with it right here as well. And that is yielding the hindquarters with some pressure and have some tension on his face. So I'm just going to come in here with my hand, slide it up. This is kind of a blocker right here, and I'm just going to ask. There we go. Good job. And all I'm looking for right here is, can you yield away from pressure? Because when I go to tie him up, a lot of times that pressure is going to get him excited or get him anxious and put him into that flight or fight or flight reaction. And then he has he may have a tendency to sit back and pull. So I'm going to ask him to move his hindquarters back over the other direction again. The rib cage is actually the hardest part to get softened up. Most horses will get stiff between their withers and their tail. And so by asking that horse to cross over with that inside hind going across over the outside hind, that really makes a big difference. But that is, the rib cage is usually always the hardest part to get soft. You can get head and neck, you can get shoulder, and you can get hindquarter, but that rib cage is the big part right there. So when I come in here and I pick my hand up so as a blocker and bend him at the head and neck, and then see those hindquarters, that hind foot cross, and there we go, good job. That's when I know I kind of jumped in front there, but that's when I know that I got softness through here. And that's when you know you have true softness, when you get those rib cage softened up. Okay, so we're going to tie this guy up right now, and what I use is a blocker. It's a tie ring, okay? And it works real well, and I'm going to explain exactly how that works. So I'm going to make sure that he obviously can stand right next to whatever I'm going to tie him to quietly. If he's in a panic right here or something, that's not the right time to try to tie him up. So all this does is about 16 to 18 inches from his chin to where you're going to tie him. You're just going to slide that through, run that blocker up, or that peg, and again, 16, 18 inches from under his chin to where he's tied. And what this does is it allows him, and of course I didn't want to tie him up unless I felt like he was in a good state of mind. But if he did decide, which you may see here in a minute, but if he did decide to pull, he's going to have a little leeway. There is tension right there, but not enough to make him hard tied. This guy's doing an amazing job of staying here quiet, tied up. So I think I'm going to let him stand here probably another 10, maybe 15 minutes tied up and see how he does. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching Mark Jenkins Horsemanship right here on Better Horses.
Closed captioning has been brought to you by Lina Weaver
and Flat Tail Ranch.
Those of us who devote our lives to the animals we love can recall a kind of dawning. A time when something inside us awoke, like a seed planted deep within us, and it taken root and begun to grow. And from that moment on, the path ahead was clear. That one seed set our course and determined who we would be, how we would live, forever connected to the land. We found purpose in these remarkable creatures that depend on us. At Stanley Premium Western Forage, we believe that purpose is what sets us apart and binds us all together. It's why our family built a company dedicated to supporting, enriching, nourishing the animals we all care for and this lifestyle we share. Stanley Premium Western Forage, grown for the life we love.
Hi, I'm Laurel Denton, and we're here today at the Bayou Bar Ranch, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about collection and impulsion. And this little short clip is really for nothing but for educational purposes. There's a lot of talk today about behind the vertical, being over collected and everything like that. And I want you to know why we collect horses. What it does to their stride, how it gives you the opportunity to have more impulsion with your horse, impulsion which is going forward. Today I've chosen this horse. He's a 7-year-old gelding. He's big and he's long, and so he's a good candidate to work on this video so you can see the difference in each way, whether with collection and without collection. What I'm going to talk to you about today isn't what I'm not telling you to show your horse this way. I'm not telling you to ride your horse this way. It's for in educational purposes only, so you can see the difference on how a horse's stride changes. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and we'll start at the walk, and then we'll do it at the trot and at the lope and the extended trot. So as I start out with this horse and I'm walking along, he feels hollow to me. Yes, he's natural. His neck is kind of at the right angle. But if you watch his stride, his hind foot is barely reaching his front. So I'm going to collect him very easily. I'm going to sit back and ask him for a bigger walk. Okay, immediately he lengthens his stride. See how much longer his stride is? He's very collected, he's very behind the vertical, and I can release him and keep that stride. When he loses it, I'll pick him up, bring him back into that stride. For me, the ranch riding, it's about extension of stride, all right? So I'm going to show you, so here he is. I can release his face, and I have a nice big stride. At the same time, I can bring him back, lengthen that stride, and release him back. Same thing at a trot. So as I come around the corner here, so this would be a ranch riding trot. He's looking out, that doesn't bother me, but watch the difference in his overall when I bridle him up. And I get him in the bridle, and then I can release him. Okay, so it's kind of the same. I'll ask him to move into the bridle. See his extension of stride? And then I can just release his face and he stays right there. What? Again, get him in the bridle. Nice stride. See how he hit that stride? Okay, so when I do this, he uses his rear end. When I get him in the bridle, he uses his rear end. That is the true meaning of collection and impulsion, making him use his rear end to take that bigger step and get a longer stride. I hope that helped you a little bit differentiate between being over-collected and what it means. Well, actually what you're doing when you ask a horse to do this is you're asking him to use his rear end and move forward. I'm Laurel Denton, and I hope this helps you a little bit down the road.
Hey, thank you for watching Better Horses. And if you've missed any of our shows, check us out at betterhorses.com, where you can see all our episodes.
You can also follow us on Facebook or listen to any of our podcasts right from your mobile device.
And don't forget our newspaper coming out 5 times a year.
You're gonna love it.